Hey guys, so let's look at how we can create a VS Code extension. So firstly, you want to have Node installed. You can just search on Google for Node and then install it from here. Just download the installer. And from there, you just want to create a folder for where your projects will be. And then you want to open up a terminal here. And in the terminal, you want to run npm install -g. And you want to install two packages here. The first is called yo, and the second one is called code-generator. So once you run this, it should install both of them. I'm not going to do this because I already have them installed on my system. So after this, we just want to run yo code. And this will begin generating a template for our Visual Studio extension. So there's a few different options we get here. One is what language we want to use. For example, we can create a new extension with TypeScript or with JavaScript. And then if you just want to do something like create a theme or a new language support pack or something like that, or a snippet, you can use one of these. But I'm just going to select new extension with JavaScript. But you can feel free to use TypeScript if you want. And then it's asking us for a name of our extension, so I'm just going to write test extension here. And what's the identifier? So we can just leave this the same as the name, and that will be fine. We can also just come back and change the name after we're done building the project, so you don't have to commit to whatever you type in here. For the description, you can type whatever you want, but I'm just going to leave it blank as well. I'm going to say no here. It's asking if we want to enable type checking. And now it's asking if we want to initialize a Git repository. I'm going to say no as well. And now it's asking us which package manager do we use. So if you installed yo and code generator through npm, just choose npm as well. Or if for some reason you're also using yarn or pnpm, then choose one of those. But I'm using Node, so I'm going to select npm here. And it will just give us some warnings here, but don't worry about them, it's still installing the dependencies. Also here, this is not an actual warning. I'm not sure why they put it in red, but it's just saying that it's installing the required dependencies. And again here, it'll look like you have a big warning, but it's just saying your extension has been created. They should really put this in green, I guess. But anyways, let's just skip this for now. It's asking us if we want them to open it for us. I'm going to skip this. And now let's close this and head into the folder that it created. Okay, so in here I want to open a terminal again and then do code and dot just to open this up in Visual Studio Code. And you'll see these are all the files that are generated. So there's only two files that we're interested in here. One is called extension.js, and this is where the actual code for your extension goes. And then the other one is called package.json. So these two are the files that you'll be working with most often. One more thing that you might want to do is npm install inside of this directory. So we'll just let this run, and this will install npm or node inside of this directory. And that will let us use node packages and stuff inside of our files here. So in packages.json, this is where all of the settings for your extension are. So you'll see that it has the name here, the display name, and then the description and the version and all of that stuff. There's also other options you can add in here, like for example, you can add an icon. And then you give the address to the icon here. you can just create a folder in here called images and store the icon in there, and then give that address here. What else can you do here? You can adjust the pricing. So if this was just a free extension, you can mark it as free here. Or if it's a trial where the user has to buy a license key or something, you can mark that out here. And yeah, there's basically a few different settings that we can play with here. There's also these commands here. So inside of this commands area, we can add new commands that we use in our extension file to do whatever we're doing. And now that we're in the extension file, we can see at the top here, it's requiring this VS Code thing here. So this VS Code library, I guess you can call it, or API, is how we interact with Visual Studio. So for example, if we wanted to show a message to the user when they run a function, we'll do it through this VS Code thing that we imported. Okay, so now let's create our own command. So inside of this commands array here, we want to add a comma after this curly brace. And now we can add in our own command. So we'll add another set of curly braces. And the two arguments that it takes is the command and the title. And you can see here that the command, it has to start off with the name of your extension. It doesn't actually need to start off with that name, but it's just so that we can identify it later on, because we might have like 100 Visual Studio extensions installed and we can't have like 50 of them with the same hello world command in it. So I'm just going to say command here, and I'm going to give it a name. So I'll call it test extension and dot, and then we'll give it a name like hi. And then we want to give it a title. So the title, we can call it like say hi. So this is what will, the title is what will show up when the user searches for the command by pressing Command Shift and P. And then in here, when they say hi, for example, it will show this command. And now when we want to add code to this command, we need to copy what we used as the command here. And we'll go into the extensions page, and down here after the activate function, or inside of the activate function, we'll see a few things here. One is this console.log, and this runs as soon as the activation function starts. So basically as soon as they start up Visual Studio. And then there's some code here that says const disposable, so it's creating a variable called disposable, and it's registering a command, and the command it's registering is test extension.hello world. And as a second parameter of this register command function, it's giving a function here with some code inside of it. So this function that it's passing as the second command of this register command function is what will run when this command is executed. And then after this code is registered as a command, we're pushing it to the context. So context.subscription.push, and then the name of the variable that we created up here. Now I know this can be a little bit confusing, but let's just copy this and paste it below. And let's change the name of disposable to hi. And we'll change the register command here to hi as well, because that's what we named our command. And here, let's get rid of this. So as I said before, to access the editor, we want to use VS Code, and then we want to do .window and .show informational message. There's a lot of other things you can do here as well. For example, you can say editor, active text editor. So if you run this command, it will return the active text editor, which is the editor we're in right now, like the page we're on. And then you can say like document.text.getText. And this will return all the text in the current page. But we don't want to do any of this right now. We just want to show a message to the user. So we'll do .window.showInformationalMessage. And then we give a message here. So we can just say hi, for example. And once we create this variable, this hi, we need to do the same thing that they did up here, which is context.subscriptions.push. So we'll just copy that and let's paste it down here. And instead of pushing disposable here, we want to push hi. And if we save this, now let's press F5. So this should open up a developer version of VS Code where we can test the extension. And if I press Ctrl+Shift+P here and I type in hi, we should see the say hi function down here, which is what we created. And it will just give us this informational message that says hi here. So instead of closing it up here, you want to go back to your Visual Studio, the main one, and click this red square up here. So that's basically how you would go about creating a Visual Studio extension. There's a few other things like you can store stuff in a global state or a workspace state. That's basically like if you want to keep information for the next time they close and reopen Visual Studio. And yeah, basically if you guys want to see more on this series or you want a more in-depth tutorial series about creating extensions, just let me know in the comments and then I'll make that. This is just a quick overview of how to use everything. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.